The rough weather last week had an effect on several Hoosier sporting events. The women's swim team was supposed to hold their last chance invitational, but instead split their squad and sent a small group up to the Purdue to compete in the Boiler Make It held in West Lafayette. The women recently won the Big Ten championship. Coming up in March, they'll look for more success at the NCAAs. It's only a couple of weeks until spring football practice for the Hoosiers. There's a lot to look forward to. Quarterback Kellen Lewis showed a lot of promise in the second half of last season. We can only expect better things from the young QB as he heads into his second season. Former quarterback Blake Powers will move to tight end and could end up being a surprise threat for Lewis to utilize. With Coach Hep's 19 recruits recently signing their national letters of intent, the young Hoosiers continue on the rebuilding trail as they look to move their way up in the Big Ten. Make sure Hoosier Sports Night is your home for complete Big Ten tournament and NCAA tournament coverage, beginning with the women's tournament on March 1st and the men's tournament on March 8th. We'll have full coverage and post-game sound coming in from Indy and Chicago for those 2 weeks. Not to mention we'll be traveling all over the country to follow the men's basketball team in the Big Dance. Hoosier Sports Night is your home for postseason basketball. The IU softball team kicked off the season last Friday, taking part in the Crown Plaza Classic in Houston, Texas. In their first game of the year, the Hoosiers shut out Centenary 3-0. Jenny Lee Huddleston and Tori Yamaguchi hit back-to-back home runs in the fourth inning to break a scoreless tie, while Jennifer Moore held a no-hitter until the sixth inning. In the second game of the Classic, the Hoosiers took on Southern Illinois. Yamaguchi homered again, but there wasn't enough Hoosier offense as they fell in this one 6-2. Day 2 of the tournament did not bring success for the Hoosiers. In the first game, they were shut out 8-0 by number 5 ranked LSU. Indiana then lost to Houston 5-3, squandering a 7th inning bases-loaded rally by just coming away with 1 run. On the third day of the Classic, the Hoosiers were able to wrap up the event with a win over Missouri State. Next up for IU is the Southern Classic in Carbondale, Illinois on March 3rd. Now in men's soccer news, last season may have ended painfully for the men's soccer team, but as usual, the future is bright for Coach Freitag's crew. The team recently announced the signing of 7 new players for the upcoming season. The group consists of 4 National Soccer Coaches Association All-Americans and 2 State Players of the Year. Coach Freitag described the group as a class of winners. They'll look to continue IU's dominant tradition of soccer success. Now IU upcoming events for the week. It's that time of the show. Let's look at the week ahead for Hoosier Sports. On Wednesday, the men's basketball team will look to stay undefeated at home as their season nears a close. Minnesota will be here for the Hoosiers' second-to-last home game of the season. Then on Thursday, the women's team will be on Branch McCracken Court as they play host to Northwestern for their senior night. On Friday, the men's baseball team will be taking on Troy. Meanwhile, the women's golf team will be in Puerto Rico participating in the Lady Puerto Rico Classic. On Saturday, the men's basketball team will be in East Lansing for a big showdown with the Spartans. The baseball team will be facing Southern Mississippi. The women's tennis team will be in Knoxville taking on Tennessee. And the men's and women's track and field teams will be in Bloomington competing in the Big Ten championships. On Sunday, the women's basketball team's season will come to a close as they play at Penn State. The baseball team will be taking on Georgia Southern, and the track and field teams compete in Day 2 of the Big Ten championships. So that's going to do it for this edition of Hoosier Sports Night. Make sure you check us out next week as we'll have full coverage from the big Minnesota and Michigan State matchups. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Chris Hopper. We'll see you next time.